Hello and welcome to this Grief Inspired Live. It's Catherine. How are you? I don't know if this is the right angle, the right level. We're doing it. It's all good. So I want to spend a little time with you today if you are grieving. And I want to tell you that if you're grieving the loss of someone that you love, let's say you've lost a spouse, a child, a parent, someone else that you love and care about, it can rock your world and it can devastate you. And I have a lot of people who come to YouTube looking for videos like this, saying, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Because I've lost my loved one. Where do I start? Where do I go? What do I do? How do I find hope? How do I find hope and healing? What am I going to do? Is this pain ever going to end? How long is grief going to take? Can I just get back to normal? What's going to happen next? What should I do? These things are all really, really challenging elements of grief. And so, of course, what I want to share with you today is I want to start by talking about some of the reasons why people don't get grief support. I have several different things that I offer because I want to help, because I know what it feels like to be in the throes of grief, to have your world completely turned upside down, to not know which way is up, which end is up, to have everything that you knew, that you loved, that was certain, be taken away. I know what it's like to be fearful of the future, what's going to happen next, not knowing what's going to happen next. I know what it's like to be angry that this happened, that it happened to you, that it happened at all. I know what it's like to feel guilty. What I also know is that I spent 2 very long years being stuck in grief, experiencing pain. I have people that I've worked with who have chose to avoid their grief, not because they're wrong, but because that's what they thought they could do, that if you just ignore it long enough, then it will go away. But they learn that that's not the case, that doesn't happen. You can't do that. And so what I want for you is to not stay stuck. If you are grieving, drop a comment below. I don't know if I can see comments. We'll see. But drop a comment below and tell me who you've lost. Tell me when it happened. That helps because your response will be different sometimes, but not all the times, based on when it happened. I feel like sometimes I should ask people, when did you actually start the grieving process? Because here's the thing is we can lose our loved one and not grieve. And what happens is people can be 2, 3, 4. I have a woman that's 9 years out and she never grieved. And then she found me, something happened, something about her life sent her looking for grief videos. She found me and she started the grief process. So what I want for all of you is to start the grief process, get through it, so that you can move forward, you can learn how to carry your loss, how to live with your loss, and actually be happy again. So let's talk about some of the reasons why we might not. Grief can overwhelm you. It can drain your energy and your decision making. If you're early in your grief, you might be like, you know what, maybe I would be okay with support, but I just can't, it's too much. I just don't have the energy. It can feel too hard, and I get that. When life feels too hard because of grief, that's actually the time to seek support. And I try to make it as easy as I can so that you don't have to do a lot, right? You just have to show up. If you can get on a Zoom, I could do the rest. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. People who don't get support, they actually don't believe that anything can get better. That is a myth that I would love to dispel, because I've seen it happen time and time and time again. But the world doesn't talk about grief, and the world doesn't tell you that you can move through your grief and that it doesn't have to end you. For me, my grief was a positive experience, if that makes sense. Was it hard? Yeah. Did it almost wreck me when I lost my son? Yeah. But there were also what I call gifts of grief, things that came out of the experience. You can learn in any situation. It doesn't mean that it's easy. But I have found meaning, I have found purpose, I have found fulfillment, and I'm moving toward more of a sense of peace than I've ever had in my life. And if I had not gone through the grief process, would I have any of that? I'm not really sure. I don't think so. But I want you to not be in the place of saying nothing can fix this, I'm wrecked, this will never get better. I hear this a lot from parents who have lost a child, because they look up to the heavens or they look out into their life and they say, there's no way this can get any better. There's no way that I can carry this grief. Nothing is going to fix the fact that they are not here. Nothing will fix the fact that they are not here. But what you can do is learn how to be okay with it. Do something with it. Carry it with you. There is a fear of facing the pain of grief. Leaning into grief, as I call it, dealing with grief, looking at your grief, trying to understand your grief, getting educated on grief, facing that pain. I've had people tell me, I'm afraid to start crying because if I start crying, I won't ever stop. And I completely get that, but you will stop. It can be initially a little bit more painful in the beginning. Yes, you're gonna cry. You have to get your grief out. That's what this t-shirt is. There's many ways to get your grief out, but you're gonna cry. Of course you are. You're grieving. When you love someone and you lose them, you cry. And if you're not crying, well, that's something to look at too. And say, why am I not? What's going on there? You can drop me an email if you want to talk about it more in depth. griefinspired@gmail.com. What else? They don't want to pay money. Money can feel risky, paying anything at a time, especially if you've lost a spouse, you've got a funeral to pay for, things are uncertain. Spending anything can be scary. There's a lot about grief that can be really scary. There's financial stresses to worry about. And then we're emotionally exhausted and we're afraid that maybe we'll make a mistake. We don't want to make the wrong decisions. I get it. I get it. And the other one is that people who are grieving don't see getting grief support as urgent. It is urgent. Depending on your grief. So here's the thing. Here's the thing you need to know about grief. The grief that you experience is in direct proportion, is equal to the amount of the love that you have for the person. If you love someone deeply, you will grieve them deeply. If you're very attached to the person, if they were your everything, yeah, you're going to grieve hard. It can be parents, it can be spouse, it can be, everybody's attached to their children. Losing a child, it seems like a no-brainer that, yeah, that's going to be really, really hard. But when you think about a spouse that you've been married to for 30, 40, 50 years, yeah, that's going to be hard. And our parents, we're so attached to our parents. Honestly, whether we like them or not, they're still the people that raised us. They're still the people that we know. They know everything about us for the most part. At least when we were little, they did. I don't tell them everything anymore. Of course, I believe my daddy can kind of see. He's here guiding me. I believe that. He's in heaven. But it is urgent. Dealing with grief is urgent. And here's why. It's because you don't deserve to suffer longer than you already have. And there's a certain amount of suffering and pain of grief that you can't get around. But that doesn't mean that you should suffer longer. Like, let's get this done. It's proven with all the people that I've worked with, the sooner you start to lean in, the sooner you get to a place where you're like, hey, I'm okay. I'm not perfect. I haven't healed everything, but I can get through the day. And I can find, and what I want, what's most important is that I'm trying to shorten the time that it takes for people to understand that I can do this. I can tell you, I've seen people do it, get to a place where they can walk with their grief. They're not done healing. Grief takes as long as you love the person, and that's not going away anytime soon. But it's urgent. Dealing with your grief is urgent because the sooner you start to deal with it, the sooner you can get to a place where you feel okay with it. And I want to shorten that window. And if you educate yourself and if you learn tools to support you when things go wrong, when things get hard, when you wake up in the morning full of anxiety and you're like, what is going on? Where is that coming from? When you feel guilty, when you're walking, just going about your day and you're emotionally triggered by something you hear, something you smell, something that you say, and oh my gosh, if you see someone that looks like your loved one, well, that could take you out of the game for a minute. Getting grief support is urgent. I want you to know that you can feel better, that you can get through it. That is the messaging of Grief Inspired. You can do this. I can help you. I can make it easier. So I want to just take a minute and tell you so that you know if you're here and you're still watching, you're looking for something, and I know that you are because you're still here. And I want to invite you to come check out the Grief Inspired healing course. We call it healing and transformation. If the transformation part feels too big, just come and heal. You can do a little bit, you can do a lot. I've had people make massive progress. I've had people do just a little bit because that's all they wanted. And that's okay too. But I teach you how to understand grief and the grief process. You learn a lot about yourself. And then you learn about your life and what does this mean? What does this mean for you? How do you want to move forward? And so I wanted to just take a couple of minutes and share with you some of the modules. So it's a 10-week grief course. I also have a community for people who aren't ready for the course. You can just jump into the community and come on in and find people to support you and share your grief. But I think the course is what really moves people forward most quickly. If I could have it my way, I would tell everyone, come into my group, let's do the course, let's keep you going in the group so that you have a support system that's ongoing, so that you can lean on other people. So 10 modules. Module number 1, and I'm just going to walk through these. I'm not going to take a ton of time. If you want to know more, reach back out to me. We can talk more. Module 1, understanding grief. You need to understand what's going to happen. Why do we grieve at all? Deb, here you are. I almost made this live for you. Deb says right here, she is a testament. She is stuck. Deb, I'm talking about my course. I'm telling you, the course will change your life. It will move you forward. That's what it's about. So the first module, understanding your grief. What is grief? Why do we grieve? All the myths, the crap that people tell you that's not true, and why you feel so isolated and feel lonely and like nobody understands what you're going through. It's because the world doesn't understand grief in general. We're going to talk about how your grief journey is unique, and we're going to talk about how it affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All of it. It's all encompassing. Module number 2 is the emotional landscape of grief. Here come the emotions. Let's talk about the emotions. What are the ones that you can expect? When are they going to show up? Many people who have found their loved one have trauma too. You find your loved one passed away, that's trauma. If you've done CPR on your loved one, that is trauma. If your grief was unexpected, it's trauma. So we talk about trauma, we talk about grief. They're kind of different, although they go together. How to get your emotions out, right? My t-shirts, get the grief out. You have to get emotions out. There's lots of ways to do that. You can take anger for an example, right? You can get anger out by punching a hole in the wall. It's one way. But we talk about some strategies that work that don't require drywall repair. Getting the emotions out in a healthy way is super powerful. We talk about different exercises that are going to help you. Breathing, mindfulness, journaling, punching things. We talk about the, what are they called? Smash rooms. Go to a smash room. This doesn't have to all be foo-foo, la-la. I have a lot of men and they're like, I don't want to do that stuff. I'm like, great. Find something to punch, hit, kick, scream at. That's not someone's face. Those are all good ways to release anger. Module 3 is coping strategies and self-care. Okay, we know what our emotions are. We talk about the different ones, and then we say, well, what do we do? How do I find hope? First, you gotta believe. You gotta believe that you can get through this. You gotta believe that you can heal. We talk about self-compassion. We talk about extreme self-care, and not the la-la self-care. What's self-care for you? What makes you feel a little lighter? What makes you feel better? It's different for everybody. We explore different things and find the ones that work for you, and we create a self-care plan. We talk about grief waves. We talk about triggers. And we build a personal support plan. As you go through the process of grieving, you learn, okay, here comes the anxiety. What do I do? What are the tools I can use? What are the ones that work for me? What do I need to do today? Do I need to be with people? Do I need to be by myself? Do I need to be out in nature? Do I need to be crafting? Do I need to be noodling in the garage? What do I need to be doing? It's specific to you. So we work through it. We talk through it together. And I should say, before I go on to module 4, there's a lesson that you listen to, and then we come together every week and we talk about that lesson. So you get both. You get the education, but then you get to hear other people. And there's a magic in being with other people, hearing their stories, hearing about their grief. And yeah, we compare. People compare, and they say you shouldn't compare your grief. But I'll tell you what, just like with anything else in the world, you can always find someone who's got it a little bit harder than you do. And sometimes you're like, well, okay, I can do this. If that person can do it, I can do it too. I want you to experience that. I want you to feel that. That's why we get together. There's a group of us, and it's people who have lost parents, spouses, children. We all come together because it's good to witness and see other people's grief too. And you learn more about yourselves by seeing how other people approach grief. So that's important. Module number 4, navigating guilt. Oof. There aren't a whole lot of people who don't have some level of guilt. You cared for somebody, for years. You sacrificed your life, you still feel guilty. Maybe you said some things, maybe you didn't say things, maybe you said some things that you didn't want to say. You feel guilty. You were there, but you weren't there enough. You should have been there and you weren't there. Feel guilty. Is any of this resonating? Module 5. So module 4, we deal with guilt. I teach you how to release it. I have a 4-step process. Talking about it, reframing it, understanding it, getting curious about it. We make up a lot of stuff in our head that's really, really hurtful. And I help you unravel that one guilty thought at a time. We write down everything that we feel guilty about. We acknowledge it, we know what it is, and then we work through it one at a time until you can start to release the guilt. And I have some other strategies, methods, practice, tools, things you need. Module 5, honoring and sharing the legacy of your loved ones. I love talking about Jackson Robert. I like talking about my daddy too. You got to talk about it. You got to honor them. You got to find ways to honor them. I talked to somebody this morning, birthday's coming up. Father's Day's coming up. The day he died is coming up. Oh, let's find ways to honor that love. Figure out how to navigate it. Got lots of tools around that too. Module 6 is allowing and discharging anger. We talked a little bit about anger already. Sometimes our anger covers up all the other emotions that we don't know how to feel. You know, Brene Brown says that there are 3 emotions that most people knew: mad, sad, and pissed off. Those are the 3 that people can name. I'll tell you what, there's a lot more emotions. And the more clear you can get on the actual emotion that you're feeling, the more you can talk about it and understand it, the more it starts to make sense. You lose someone that was your rock, the person who was there for you, who did things for you, who did the stuff that you didn't want to know how to do, and then suddenly you're left to do it. That can create some anxiety. That can create some anger. Why did you leave me? Sometimes we're angry at God. We're angry at the situation we're in. We're angry at other people. How about doctors? Does anybody get angry at doctors? Ooh, that's a good one. Poor doctors. We beat the crap out of them after we lose our loved ones. Because they're not gods. They make mistakes. Dealing with that anger is paramount. Anger will kill you. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. The only person who anger hurts is you. But you got to get it out. Get your grief out. Get your anger out. Get your guilt out. Are you noticing a pattern? Number 7, we talk about fear, anxiety, and depression. Anxiety and depression go hand to hand. Anxiety is usually because you're fearful. You're fearful of things that are going to happen in the future. You're fearful of things that have already happened that you remember, that you're worried about. Our brains are a magnificent work of art designed to keep us safe. And they create anxiety to help us. And then we learn it. It gets stuck in our bodies. We don't know how to release it, and then it becomes bigger. And we become fearful of things that we haven't even seen or learned about or know about. Our minds can blow things up like nobody's business. So we talk about that. What's the difference between clinical depression and grief depression? You can choose to medicate your grief because you're depressed, although it just delays the inevitable. Sometimes it's necessary, I get it. But depression from grief, yes, of course you're depressed. Someone that you love died. Your life is forever changed. You miss them. This is terrible. Yeah, depression's a thing. Module 8 talks about the impact of grief on our identity and our relationships. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Relationships. Anybody experiencing the fact that the people around you say all the wrong things? They tell you to move on, get over it, God has a plan, at least this, at least that. You should be better by now. Get out of the house, go do this, go do that. Everybody's got advice. What does that do to your relationships? And then who are you? You lose a spouse that you've been married to for 30, 40, 50 years, and suddenly you're a single person again. What's that like? I don't know how to do that. Your couple friends don't invite you places anymore because, well, you're not a couple. I mean, you might be fearful to go outside, do something different, go to a new group. Nope, I always did that with my husband. I always did it with my wife. No, thank you. Who you are when you're a mother without a child, or a child without your parents anymore. That one actually has a name. That's called an orphan. If you're lose a spouse, you're a widow or a widower. But if you're a parent without a child, you're nobody. There's no name for that. Wonder why. Don't know why. Maybe we should make one up. Don't get stuck on that though. It's all difficult. Your identity changes. You got to learn how to set boundaries. Ooh, boundaries are very good. You got to navigate difficult relationships. You get to form new ones. One of the best benefits of this grief course is you get to form new relationships with people who actually get it, who care, who want to support you, and who are there to be supported as well. And there's this like symbiosis that happens, if you know that word. I'm a scientist by training. You help each other instead of doing it alone. It is really the magic of my community. It's the magic of the course. It's not necessarily the content. The content's good, don't get me wrong. But it's learning the content with other people, sharing it, bouncing ideas off of each other, saying, well, I look at it this way. And then somebody else says they look at it completely differently. And you're like, I didn't think of it like that. Now I see it differently. Being able to shift your perspective around things is a skill, so that we're not too rigid. It helps us heal. It helps us process our emotions. Module 9 is all about grief and growth. Why are we grieving anyways? Why are we going through all of this? What does the growth mean? How do we find meaning in our loss? What comes next with our life? How do we move forward? And what does that moving forward look like? What is in our future? Because here's the thing. Sometimes they say time heals all wounds and you're supposed to sit around and wait for your grief. If you're sitting around and waiting for your grief to pass, it's the wrong way to do it. It's about moving forward and knowing and having enough control to say, I want to put this in my future. And I'm going to eliminate that because I don't need any more of that. I don't need people who are petty. I don't need people who don't understand the value of a real relationship, that it goes back and forth. I don't need people who are narcissistic in my life anymore. What I need is deep, thoughtful conversations. This is me. What I need are people who engage in reciprocal relationships, who are my ride or die friends. What I need are people who care about other people, who aren't petty and backstabbing and really just trying to get ahead, and they'll stomp on you and your life and your family and your friends to get what they need. I don't need that in my life anymore. I had that before my loss. That was my way of life. I did as much stomping on other people. Not proud of it, but it's true. Growth. I am compassionate. Anyone who comes out of a loss. The people, I'll tell you what, We talked about relationships, the relationships with the people that are telling you terrible things. There is always one person in your life, and I want you to imagine who this person is for you. The one person who unexpectedly shows up, does something nice, says something nice, honors your loved one, something out of the ordinary, unexpected, that's somewhat of a stranger who does more for you and who you appreciate more than all the people who are in your inner circle. That happens a lot. And the reason why that person does that is I can almost guarantee it's because they've been through a loss and they get it. And they know. And they want to help. Really, really important. Growth. Grief will grow you. And the only way out is through, for sure. And then you start deciding what you want to be in your future. And then in module 10, you move forward with hope. So you redefine your life, your purpose, you look at it, you look at all the things that we've already done, and we say, what now? I understand my grief, I understand myself, I understand a little bit more about my life. What comes next? What are the goals that I want to have? I ask people now at the beginning, what is your goal in grief? And people look at me like, what? What is your goal for grief? What is your goal right now? Is your goal to just try to sleep through the night because you can't sleep and you wake up and you're ruminating, looking at the ceiling? Is your goal just to not cry every single day? Is your goal to honor them and make sure that you never forget them? Is your goal to learn, to become a better version of yourself? To make sure that you pay attention to the people who are still in your life so that you don't have the same regrets as you do for the person that you've just lost. It's moving forward with hope, and it's saying, what are the next steps? What are the next steps for you? And I mentioned these things all happen in different timelines. Not everybody goes through it at the same rate. I have people that take the course multiple times because you grow, you become different as you grieve. It is a process, but it is urgent. It's something that you deserve. Yes, it costs money, but why would you deny yourself healing, support, understanding, empowerment? Imagine feeling empowered by your grief. Imagine feeling happy, laughing again. Being able to talk about your loved one, not with tears, or maybe with tears of joy commingled with your other tears. Being able to really understand the purpose that they had for you in your life, why they were here and why they are gone. You can find all the answers that you need because the answers to your life are within you. It's mantra number 9. But mantra number 10, the 10 grief-inspired mantras, grief-inspired mantra number 10 is together we grieve better. Can you grieve alone? Yes. Can you avoid your grief and not grieve at all? Yes, you have the right. But what I am offering you is the opportunity to get the education that you need, to get support that's structured, that leads you down the path of grief, that helps you heal in a way that's powerful, in a way that has a positive mindset. We work on things like limiting beliefs, boundaries, resilience, mindfulness, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, how to regulate your nervous system, your self-care plan, self-care compassion, finding inner peace. All of these things, they help. We talk about the work of Byron Katie, Brene Brown, Mel Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Pema Chodron. There are so many more. It's incredible. It really, really is. So that is my charge to you, is to take a minute and say, why haven't I gotten support? Why haven't I reached out? I give you guys my email, griefinspired@gmail.com. You can email me. You can check out my new website, griefinspiredme.com. What I want for you is hope and healing, and I want you to be able to trust in me. Trust in me that when I say you can do this and I can help you, trust in that. You might be tired. You might not believe that you can feel better, but I'm telling you, you can. You might be fearful to face the pain of your grief. You might be worried about the money element. It's not a problem. We'll do it and we'll break it up if we need to. But it is urgent. Your life is urgent. Your happiness is urgent. So that is my call for you today. I hope that hearing about the course gave you another level of comfort. If you have questions, ask. I have a whole team of people who have taken the course, all of the folks that are in my Facebook group who have taken the course, every one of them, I'm pretty sure, except one, every one of them, we've always got one, will tell you how it helped them, what it did for them. I've got testimonials on my website. I've got videos on the YouTube channel here. Tell me what you need. Go somewhere else and get support. Try other things and come back, because a lot of people do. But what I want you to know is that you deserve the support. You're worthy of it. It will make your life better. You can move forward. You can live with loss. You can heal and you can carry your grief. And your future will look different. But your loved one will look back. You'll look back on your life. Your loved one would maybe be looking down, if you believe that. I do. Not everyone does, though, so I want to be inclusive. But be proud of yourself. Make yourself proud. This is the challenge of your life. But you can do it. You don't have to do it alone. If you have questions, drop them below. I'm always here. This is my mission, to help as many people as possible. I have courses. I'm enrolling now. Always enrolling for the one that's next. Because there are so many people who deserve to heal, who deserve to be happy. You go to my website, Grief Coaching That Works. You know why? Because it does work. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer's there. She'll talk to you. She'll tell you it's worth investing in. She did it. It's incredible. Really is. There is no more joy that I get. No more fulfillment, no more meaning than being able to help walk somebody through the journey that I walked through alone. I had some people helping me, but the majority of it I did alone. And it's like, why? Don't do it alone. You can compare it to, it's no different than working out with a personal trainer. Yep, I've got all my gym equipment here, but I tell you what, I do a lot better when I have a personal trainer. Because they make sure that I'm doing the work. They hold me accountable. They teach me the things that I don't know. And even when I don't want to show up for myself, I show up for the other people who are in the class, in the group, or for the result that I want. What is your goal in grief? What do you want to do? Start today. I've got you. Hope everybody has a good day and hope to see you soon. Hope to meet you. Hope to hear your story. Hope to learn all about your loved one. Say their name, drop their comments, drop about them below. Let people know who they are. It's another way to honor them. I love hearing all the stories. It's amazing. I get so much from it too. So the more people I help, the more joy I find myself. We'll see you in the next course. Bye for now.